Researchers at the American Heart Association found that dog owners were likely to get the recommended amount of weekly exercise, reducing their risk of cardiovascular disease. The findings cannot conclude whether healthier people are just more prone to have pets or if having a pet actually leads to a reduction in health risks. The researchers reviewed several studies on the health of pet owners and found that they generally had lower cholesterol, lower blood pressure, and lower rates of obesity. Dr. Gary Allen, Cardiothoracic Surgeon at Florida Hospital Waterman's Heart Center, explains why exercise is so important to your heart health.
It really is it's a change of life, and it's a balance. You know, there's a certain amount of calories in and there's a certain amount of calories out, and there's a certain mix of those calories. So I think you have to be realistic in making certain changes. Also, as we age, it's a little different. You know, certainly those of us even past the age of 30, you start to realize your metabolism is a little bit different. You know, your basic metabolic rate changes, and that's just a fact of life as we get older. But there's certainly healthy, sensible, realistic ways to make those changes. Try to get at least 100 minutes in, for example, of cardiovascular activity in a week, which some people think that sounds like a lot, but it's really not very much. But if you take a look, for example, at individuals that have a sedentary lifestyle versus individuals that get 100 minutes. So what does that mean? That means at least getting 70% of your maximum heart rate up for 100 minutes, and at least in 20 or 30 minute intervals. So for example, 3 times a week at 30 minutes or more. So if you take a look at those individuals, their risk of future cardiac events is 50% less than the risk of individuals that have a sedentary lifestyle. The good news is, if you get out to 200 minutes, then the risk reduces by another 10%. So you get a lot of bang for your buck for those first 100 minutes, not quite as much for the next 100, but most people should be able to find 100 minutes. You could figure out your maximum heart rate in general pretty easy. It's just 220 minus your age is your maximum heart rate, and you want to try to get to about 70% of that number. So for most adults, you know, that's a heart rate somewhere in the 120s, 130s or so, give or take, and try to sustain that. And that's an achievable goal.
You'll find more information about the procedures offered at the Waterman Heart Center, as well as ways to stay active with your dog, when you click the K9s and Cardio story link on our homepage at yourhometownhealth.com.